Alright, this is my third presentation about Mewgenics. This one is going to be about chapters and bosses that we know about so far. If you haven't seen the first two presentations about Mewgenics that I made, then I'd recommend watching those first. They'll give you a better idea of what I'm going to talk about. But in any case, we'll give an intro to chapters. In Mewgenics, adventures are split into 3 different chapters, which each contain one mini-boss halfway through and one boss at the end. And after beating that boss, you can leave the chapter and go back home, or you can carry on into the next chapter. There are 15 total chapters in the game, and each chapter contains a hard path after you beat the mini-boss, and these contain more fights, which means your cats will level up more, and also harder enemies than the regular path. So anyway, first of all is chapter 1, the alley. This is the first chapter you'll begin in. We know of 7 different mini-bosses for this section, and as you can see by their colours, these actually represent a different class. So there's Pebbles, who is a collarless cat mini-boss. There's Fenrir, which is a hunter mini-boss. There's Lucy, which is a mage. There's Maisie, which is a tank. There's Magnus, which is a fighter. There's Dak, which is a thief. And we don't know the name of this one, but they are a cleric. We also know of 2 bosses for this section. There's Radical Rat and Queen Hippo. Also for chapter 1, there's the desert. We don't know any mini-bosses for this section, but we do know 2 bosses, which are the Zodiac and the Dust Devil. Now starting in chapter 2, there's the sewers. We know of 2 mini-bosses, the Flush Master and the Rat King, and we know of 1 boss being Boris. Then in chapter 2, there's the junkyard. We know 2 mini-bosses, Can, Creeper and Trampy. And we know of 1 boss, Chubs and Nubs. This is part of the same boss. Then in chapter 3, there's the caves, where we know of 1 mini-boss being Big Slime and 1 boss, Spinneret. Also in chapter 3 is the Boneyard, where we only know of 1 boss being Dybbuk. Then finally in chapter 3 we know of the core, where we know 2 bosses being Tormentor and the Coven. Now for the unknown chapters that we've heard of or seen screenshots of, but we don't know what they are for sure. For chapter 1 there's the lab. I haven't seen any photos of this, but apparently it's been discussed before. But apparently this is going to be a chapter 1 area. Now for chapter 2 there's the crater, is what we believe it's called. We know of 1 known mini boss, which is Rocky Bobo. And we know of 1 boss being Crater Maker. Obviously Crater Maker, we can kind of assume that the place is going to be called Crater, but we don't know that for sure. And for chapter 2, we've seen screenshots of this place, which looks like a bunker. And we've seen this enemy, which could be a mini boss, probably not a boss. There's also the swamp for chapter 2. And for chapter 3, there's this flesh area with this guy who could be a boss, could be a mini boss. And the moon with these aliens here. Now for the house, which isn't really a chapter, but it does have bosses. Randomly, a countdown will appear on the house screen that will look like this, and it will give a countdown to when a house boss will appear. This is the only time that you can use retired cats to fight, as you can use them to fight off these bosses. And we know of 3 bosses for the house, being Guillotina, Pyrophina, and this one, which we don't know the name of. And that's it, that's chapters. These are my references where I get all my information. There's Edmund McMillen's YouTube videos, Tyler Glale's Twitch stream, which is now edited on Edmund McMillen's YouTube channel. There's the Mewgenics Steam page, which gives monthly updates. There's the Mewgenics wiki, which compiles all that data that we get into one easy to use website. There's the Mewgenics Discord, which has a lot of people talking about Mewgenics, and the IGN preview video. These are all linked in the description. Now, go wishlist Mewgenics. It comes out 10th of February 2026.